Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigval the Grim here and welcome to the second episode of my Injustice 2 fighting guide. Or combat guide if you want to call it like that. Today we are going to be taking a look at the tagging combos. We are going to take a look at how exactly to do them, how to follow them up, and then when to do them. Before we get into the video, you need to keep in mind a few things. First of all, this takes practice, and sometimes it depends on your instincts, so you will get better at this as you get better at the game. The second thing about it is that depending on your device you might have different results, because for some reason Injustice 2 Mobile works in a way that if you've got a lower end device you will have lag but the enemy will not have lag, so in that case it might work differently for you. Another thing is that this doesn't work every time, and a lot of times it's a gamble and you have to go with the instinct. So you will get better at this in time, and even when you do this perfectly you might still fail. And the third thing is that you should check out the first part in case you haven't seen it, because you can't really follow this one up if you don't have the knowledge from the previous one. If you've got any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments, as I read all comments and I try to answer all your questions. And if you find this helpful, please go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the actual tagging combat guide. First of all, let's get into the most commonly used tagging combo. This is executed, and don't worry if you missed it because I'll do this in slow motion right now. So this is executed by doing a basic combo and finishing with a swipe right attack. So basically, you will need to hit the enemy with a basic combo. Quick recap for those who didn't watch the first episode, but you should definitely go ahead and watch it if you didn't. You go ahead and hit your enemy 3 times with a normal attack, then do a swipe attack, then hit him 3 more times with a normal attack, and then instead of backing off, do another swipe attack. After that, you are going to tag in your other teammate, go with a swipe attack forward, hit him 3 more times with a normal attack, and then with another swipe attack, and then you can use your ability. This combo also works if you are not starting with the long basic combo, like you could go straight swipe attack, tap 3 times, swipe attack again, and then tag in. This is basically the combo that you're going to see everywhere on YouTube on arena videos or raid videos, and this is the most commonly used and the best really in terms of how much damage you're gonna deal. But at the same time, this combo is not the safest because, as I said, it's a gamble first of all, and you might get interrupted by enemies using abilities, enemies tagging in or out, because the game does not really care about how it should work in theory, and the fighting in terms of tagging combos is sometimes more of a gamble. I've heard some guys that have, let's say, flawless devices that say their tagging combos work every time, but that is a very rare case, and most likely your tagging combos will fail sometimes, but that is not a problem and it happens to everybody. Now we're going to look at the hybrid tagging combo. This tagging combo is used if you don't really have enough energy to cast the ability that you desire to cast after the tagging combo, but you still are able to go offensive. So this is executed in the same way as the other one was executed. You need to start it off with a basic combo that is going to finish always in a swipe right attack, and then the character that you are going to tag in, you are going to begin the swipe right attack already, like the first tagging combo I showed you, and after that do 3 normal hits, but instead of finishing in a swipe right attack and an ability, you are going to finish it in a swipe left attack and a block. This was also one of the basic combos that I've mentioned in the first video, so I really recommend you watch that if you haven't, because it will help you understand this so much better. Remember, link in the description. As you can see over here, I have managed to successfully tag in Black Lightning, and I have managed to chain my combo, but instead of finishing it in a swipe right, I do one swipe right, 3 basics, and then I back off in order to defend myself because I don't have the energy to do the desired attack. And you should use this every time you are just tagging in for the sake of some additional energy, or you just need that little bit more energy, because if you're doing your combo like this and then you are backing off, your opponent is very likely to do a jump attack towards you and expose himself, and you can cast your ability then or even later into that specific scenario. So let's go over it one last time. A swipe right, 3 normal hits, and another swipe right. Now I tag in with my Black Lightning, it connects, I do one swipe right attack, I do 3 normal attacks, and then I go back and defend myself. Over here we have the third and the last type of tagging combo, and this is not a safe tagging combo but sometimes a necessary tagging combo. This is the full defensive tagging combo because it is meant to be used when you need to get your damage dealer real fast out of danger. For example, right here, I didn't manage to break her block with my Black Adam and I want out, so I tag in my Dr. Fate straight away without mattering if this tag-in is going to work or not, and because it worked decently, I am able to swipe left and block. So there is no setup for this combo, and you can straight up swipe left with every combo, but I suggest you do straight up swipe left only with the emergency combos, where you just tag in one of your teammates in order to get another out of danger. So there's absolutely no setup and nothing to favorize me doing this, and I'm just going to back off and block and be thankful because my combo has been successful. So yet again, guys, make sure you do this only when you need to take a character out of the way of danger, and at the same time you need to keep in mind that it might not succeed and you need to be prepared for that. For example, in this specific situation it did succeed because the enemy character was vulnerable because he was doing a jump attack, but you can't really predict this, and I will kind of get into some of the specific of this later into the video, but this combo is mostly used to get your damage dealer out of the way of the danger, and there is no guarantee it will work and no guarantee you will walk out of there with no damage taken. So when you do this tagging combo, prepare to get hit or get an ability used on yourself, and if you are lucky to not get hit or get an ability used, back off immediately and then block. Now we're going to quickly take a look at a few scenarios where things could go wrong and it's totally not your fault. For example, over here I am doing everything right, but even so the enemy is going to tag in his opponent before I can finish my tagging combo, and keep in mind that I did press to switch the character beforehand. You can see that Captain Cold is already pressed on the corner before he tagged in. You can't really do anything about those situations, and that's why I said the tagging combos are more or less kind of a gamble, but what you can do is expect them to happen from time to time and be prepared to face the consequences. This of course doesn't mean that you shouldn't use tagging combos anymore. This means that there is a risk to it and there is a random generated effect associated with it. The only thing you can do about this is kind of predict when the enemy is going to tag out, because most of the time they tag out after they've suffered some damage. And as I have said, this depends from device to device, so some devices might encounter this problem much more often, and some devices might not encounter this problem often at all. Also keep in mind that this problem is not going to occur during raids, since in the raids the enemy is not going to tag in and tag out. This will happen only in the arena and Champions Arena. This is yet another example of what could go wrong. Over here I executed my combo perfectly, but the AI seemed to have a frame advantage this time and was able to cast an ability on my character as he got tagged in. The only way to really avoid this is to make sure the enemy doesn't have energy to cast an ability, but you can't really take this into consideration because that would mean not really doing tagging combos at all. So yet again, this is a risk that you have to take, and a risk that might vary from device to device. And at the end of the day, you just have to deal with it. You can see over here, my combo was executed perfectly, and then I try to tag in Black Lightning, and the flash goes for a special move, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. And this can happen also into raids sometimes, and that is why some players don't count on tag-ins anymore when it comes to raids, and make sure to always add some defense to their damage dealer. So it's a shame that the developers didn't fix this problem since the launch of the game, but at the same time, maybe this is the game how it is intended to play. I don't know, it seems pretty weird to me that there's a random generated effect in terms of fighting combos, but you just have to deal with it. This is another situation where you should tag in and it will work like more than 90% of the times after the enemy uses a ranged attack, because when the enemy is going to use a ranged attacks, they will most of the time not do anything until their projectile leaves the map, and that is a situation where they are most vulnerable. So I didn't even do this perfectly right here, because you can tag, you don't have to dodge and we'll get into dodging ranged attacks in another video, but you don't have to swipe down to dodge the attack. You can just straight tag in after the ranged attack that they have launched is a little bit far from them, so it doesn't hit your character that you're going to tag in with. This should work almost every time. And keep in mind in the future that generally speaking, the moment when the AI is going to do a ranged attacks, until that ranged attack leaves the screen, he will be vulnerable to tagging combos and to ranged abilities. So that's a thing to keep in mind for the rest of your playthrough in Injustice 2 Mobile. And the last tagging that I'm going to talk about, but I don't recommend you do this as a new player, because this requires a lot of game experience mostly, because sometimes you will feel like a tag-in will work. For example, in this scenario, I don't really have anything going for me in terms of doing a tag-in attack, because I go left, I see him jump, I go left again, and then I predict he will do a swipe attack and I tag in, and I catch him vulnerable. But this is most definitely not a reliable strategy, and I do not recommend you do this until you feel like you are able to. So in the end, I want to remind you that the tagging attacks are a very necessary part of the Injustice 2 gameplay, but are not a guaranteed combo. So you need to keep that in mind in while doing them, because you can't never trust 100% a tagging attack. I hope my video was good enough at explaining you how to use your tagging attacks and all the types of tagging attacks that are possible. If you have any questions or any suggestions for future videos, let me know down in the comments, and also if you found this helpful, let me know down in the comments. I think I will do 3 more parts to this guide, to the fighting guides, so make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss any, and really you should check out the first part if you didn't. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next parts, and with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.